Welcome everyone, Questine here with some news with regards to World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic and World of Warcraft Classic Fresh Season of Mastery. Blizzard decided that they were going to piss a lot of people off with what they were trying to do with TPC Classic. And what was that? Nerfs, rating nerfs that they were announcing at the 11th hour to go before maintenance, or right after maintenance, that is. So, from KVAX, with weekly maintenance in each region, we're applying some hotfixes to raid encounters as a step towards their final tuning. In SSC, Morgrim Tidewalker's Lurker's health has been reduced to their post-nerf values, and Lady Vash Persuasion no longer provides crowd control immunity, so you can CC people that are being mind controlled. In Tempest Keep, Kel'Thas Sunstrider, the encounter is now set to its post-nerf configuration. Now, what did that mean? Likely an HP nerf to the weapons and the advisor, so phase 2 and phase 3, which are the hardest part of the encounter, getting that timing right, would have been nerfed and would have been made easier, I feel. And then, less than 2 hours after they posted this, I believe, they decided to go back on it because they pissed people off. They pissed people off in the way they handled it and in what they were doing. So upon further review, we've decided to give this at least a week and discuss it some more. We will not be implementing the changes above with maintenance. We'll continue to look for your feedback here and update you with our revised plan, if any, in the next couple of days. Now, why would Blizzard be doing this? There are a couple of reasons why Blizzard would be implementing nerfs in SSC and Tempest Keep on Morgrim, Lady Vash, and Kel'Thas in particular. So if we look at the numbers here on Warcraft logs, we can see that there's a substantial number of guilds that are struggling, that are still stuck on Lady Vash and Kel'Thas. And a decent number of guilds that have killed only one of them. I mean, the largest number of guilds have killed both of them, have cleared the entirety of the raiding tier, but there's still a fairly substantial number of guilds that are stuck trying to do so. So maybe it's Blizzard trying to clear the way for these guilds, make it easier, just give them that edge that they need to make it happen. As for Morgrim, I feel it's because there's RNG factor. The Morlocks are difficult to deal with, annoying to deal with. They do a lot of damage, and they do die slowly. I think nerfing their damage would have made it significantly easier to deal with them, not necessarily nerfing their HP, but hey, if you nerf their HP, then means guilds and raids that have too few Warlocks have a much easier time of dealing with that. But it's not just how many guilds are stuck in terms of progression that likely led to Blizzard's decision there. It's also the overall number. So if we look at Ironforge.pro, we can see that the numbers aren't particularly great in terms of the number of active WoW raiders. So we see that it's 352,000. Now, this number was going up towards 400,000, close to the release of Tier 5, but then it has gone down. Consistently gone down. Like, I think it was, 357,000 a week ago, or some days ago anyway, and it's been going down. It's going down, it's going down. It's going down slowly, but fairly steadily. And one of the things to also remember with TBC is that there's a lot of people that did buy the boost, that did buy a 58 character, that are playing on an alt, far more so than in vanilla. So those numbers are actually worse than they look. They're certainly nowhere near comparable to the numbers Classic had when Black Green Lair came out. So those numbers have gone down, and this is maybe Blizzard's attempt to try and fix that in some way, shape, or form. Oh, let's make the content easier so more people finish Tier 5, so people aren't as frustrated because they're playing in a guild that's struggling because, oh, we either don't have Shamans or Warlocks, we don't have the raid comp. I mean, this is kind of the problem with difficult content in TBC, that class stacking is so important in terms of getting past it, that if you just don't have those classes, you're going to struggle mightily. At least that's my personal theory on this subject. As to why there's so many guilds that are struggling to get past Vash or Kel'Thas. Or maybe they just can't get the coordination right, especially on Lady Vash. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the guilds that have killed one of Vash or Kel'Thas are actually struggling on Vash more so than KL because of the coordination required on Vash. So Blizzard is trying to do something to maybe address the issue that TBC Classic does have right now. Would it work? I don't necessarily believe that it actually would. And it pissed a lot of people off what they did, so much so that in less than 2 hours they reversed course. That's pretty interesting to see Blizzard just backtrack like that. And what's really frustrating, though, about all of this is that less than a week ago, they announced the community council, right? Applications, join the community council. Some people talk about the community council. Oh, they already had one. You know, they had the Discord of content creators. To which my reply would be, yeah, they did. But that was, you know, secretive, and not everyone could get in, and, you know, it depended on who you knew and how you knew them and all that. It's going to be more, at least what they've stated, is going to be more transparent to the community council, right, than what we had with private Discords that not everyone even knows about, right? So that's a good development. But then they do shit like this, right, where they announced in the 11th hour with really no community feedback beforehand, or maybe they had it from that Discord, I don't know, with very little community feedback, or at least public feedback on what they should change with regards to rating, and then they do it. And then they get a massive backlash. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards with Blizzard these days. And I feel like there's some kind of disconnect, a major disconnect being created between the Classic team for TBC Classic, the Classic Fresh team, and then the retail team. There's a major disconnect being created between these various teams. Like right now, I actually feel the retail team is trying to move in a more positive direction. The Classic Fresh team, for all the rushing that they're doing with the release of Classic Fresh, is also moving in a positive direction. And the TBC team, well, they fucked up in major ways over the last couple of months. And we can see that being reflected in number. Blizzard needs to get people on the same page, not having the retail team announcing the community council, because it did feel like it was something that was going to affect the retail aspect of the game far more, and then just having the TBC Classic team doing something like this. They need to avoid that. They need to work together as a team, have better communication, internally better communication, because this is not just something, oh, it's only going to affect TBC Classic. No, it's people are going to see this on the news. They're going to see this news. They're going to react negatively in general towards Blizzard, not just towards one particular aspect of Blizzard Entertainment. Or they're going to have a negative reaction in regards to the WoW team in general. So that's something they need to deal with. And that's only part of the story I want to talk about here. There's more stuff with regards to Classic Fresh. So for Classic Fresh, Season of Mastery name reservation details. On Thursday, 11th of November at 1 Central European Time, we're opening Season of Mastery realms for name reservation. This will give players several days to create their main character and coordinate with others before the Season of Mastery begins on 16th of November. And they're detailing the names that are going to be available. They're also saying that name reservation in each realm is configured to allow a limited number of total characters created, and if a realm becomes full, that realm will no longer allow further names to be reserved. If realms are reaching a full state during name reservation, we may open additional realms as soon as the 12th of November. Before opening additional realms, we will post notices in the World of Warcraft Classic discussion forums. Okay, so for Europe, we have 5 realms. No RP realm. Some people are complaining about that. I don't think it really matters. I'll be quite honest. The whole RPing and Classic, yeah, it doesn't really fucking matter. But we're getting 5 realms, 2 PvE, 3 PvP. So Bone Scythe, Dreadnought, Ironfolk, King's Fall, and Quelser are decent names. Honestly, pretty decent names. Not necessarily sold on Bone Scythe. And I'm not necessarily sold on, oh, everything's going to be named after armor or an item. Maybe a boss in one case. If we look at the North American ones. But yeah, okay. So we're getting 5 servers. The way I'm looking at this situation with the number of servers for Europe, I feel it's not enough. I feel they're making a mistake. I feel they're making the same mistake that they did originally with Classic, in that they're releasing too few realms. Now, I wouldn't go with as many realms as they had at the launch of Classic, but I would certainly have more than 5 realms to PvE, free PvP. That's my perspective. I think they should increase it, maybe 10, I don't know, maybe 7, but certainly more than this. Because I think a lot of these servers are going to get full, and you don't want to get another situation, which we had in Classic, where you're getting full servers, where you're getting these mega servers with massive queues and a lot of problems. I think Blizzard should try and avoid that. But if we look at the North American situation, well, the situation is quite different. So we're getting 8 servers. So we're getting 3 PvE servers, and then 5 PvP servers. So for US East, We get servers for US East, US West, and then Australia. So 1 PvP, 1 PV for Australia, then 2 PvP and 1 PV for US East and then US West. This might actually be a bit too much. I don't know. We'll see. I find it interesting that Blizzard seems to think that there's going to be more people, at least when you're combining Australia and North America, there's going to be more people on these servers than there's going to be in Europe. Not necessarily that much more, obviously. There's not that many more servers, but still. The names, though, are honestly quite ridiculous. Barman, Shanker, Jam Gabar, Shadowstrike, Mutanus, Nightfall. I want to see the guy who's playing on Shadowstrike, by the way. Obsidian Edge, Lionheart, and Swamp of Sorrows. Lionheart and Swamp of Sorrows are pretty fine. Nightfall, same thing, Obsidian Age. The first 3 names are pretty ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. So, besides the name being ridiculous for NA servers, I find it interesting to see the different decision making that we have with North America versus Europe. I mean, obviously you're including Australia here as well. If you took out Australia, things wouldn't be so imbalanced. It would be 6 versus 5 servers, right? But I certainly feel like Europe should have more servers. I'm not necessarily certain about North America, but yeah, take Australia out there. You probably might need more servers even for North America. And again, I feel that Blizzard should avoid the situation that they had at the launch of Classic originally, where they had too few servers. And even in the name reservation, they had way too few servers. And so people in that first day or first few days rushed for the servers that already existed, overpopulated them, didn't change their minds, even when Blizzard added servers after that. So you end up with mega servers like Gehennas that were overpopulated with insane queues. They should try and avoid that. Now, of course, on the flip side, they should try and avoid the situation where they have too many servers and too few people, which is actually something of an issue that's happening right now in Classic, in TBC, the TBC Classic, because in TBC there's a lot of servers that are just dying as it is right now, and there is no solution in sight to that. People are just transferring over from those from smaller pop servers, especially if their faction is dead on those servers. They're transferring over from that. They're going to bigger server. They're congregating on those bigger servers. But I think how you handle the launch of something is far more important than what you do later down the line. And I don't necessarily think that Blizzard is making the right decisions with the server numbers. I could be wrong. Some people would say, "Oh, you're being too optimistic about how many people are going to play Classic Fresh." Am I? I don't know. I certainly don't have an optimistic view of Classic Fresh. Let me be clear on this. I don't necessarily think it's going to be as successful as some people might believe it will be, or as Blizzard believes it will be. Or maybe I'm actually wrong about how Blizzard believes Classic Fresh is going to be in terms of its success. Maybe the server numbers are pretty telling in terms of what they expect. Maybe. I don't know. But I do think that despite my cynicism with regard, or pessimism with regards to Classic Fresh and how well it's going to do, I still think that they should have more servers. Quite a few more than what they've provided here. Because there's certainly going to be more than enough people to fill these servers that are going to play Classic Fresh. At least at launch. What happens after that is a different discussion, and that's going to depend on a large number of factors, like how many guilds are going to be there, how people are going to deal with the content, how's the leveling going to end up being with the changes that they've made, how's the community going to be, all those kind of things that, it's going to take weeks, it's going to take months to really see the effect of that. But for the launch, certainly, I think these servers are going to be filled. Costin here, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more.